Good evening. Oh, sorry, wrong era. Good evening. It's another live edition of the Highbury Squad. We all wish we were in bed, though. Well, I hope everyone has a cocktail, no matter which continent you're listening to us from this evening. Welcome to my podcast sister, Princess Guna, aka Princess Guna, and really Amanda. Hi, babe. How you doing?
Hi. Oh, not good.
I know.
As I said before, got that Sunday night feeling watching the Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, let's introduce our guest, shall we?
Let's.
Super Kevin Campbell is covering La Liga and working, but we are sure you will be hearing from him through our Kevin Says segment. And don't forget, we're also coming to you live every day this week with our lockdown live shows. But joining us tonight is a very special guest and a very good friend of the show, Mr. James Johnston, who has one of the coolest on Twitter, LL Cool. I loved. Is it inspired by the rapper?
Yes, it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's lasted a long time, from a pathetic Xbox gamer tag at about 13 years old to a sad 29-year-old man. It's lasted all that time.
Okay, don't brag about your age here. Okay, we don't want to hear it.
Sorry.
And secondly, you look more like loving an elevator.
No, you know what he looks like? He looks like he's going to go headbanging any minute.
Exactly. Yeah, even hardcore. You're right. All right, let's get this show.
Before anybody worries in the stream, Kit Harington hasn't put on a load of weight. It's totally someone different.
You've got longer hair than me.
I'm not Jesus. I'm not Kit Harington. So let's just get that out of the way.
So you are not a member of the Starks?
No.
Like Amanda.
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know my Game of Thrones. I apologize.
All right, listen, guys. The chat is full, and there's so many comments that have come in. I cannot keep up. Okay, so bear with me, and bear with Amanda's also. When you think Amanda's looking down, she's actually looking at her phone to stay connected with you guys in response to your comments and stuff like that. There are a lot coming in, and I'm going to try and put them up on screen as much as I can. So I'm going to start very quickly. I made a tweet before the game, and I made a bold prediction that Bert Leno would have a great game, and it would be the legend of Leno. And to be honest with you, for me, he's the only one that I feel bad for tonight. Because when we were at 1-0 down, he made some really good saves that kept us in the game. And I was hoping that our team would capitalize on our chances. We didn't do that. But as much as I blame the players tonight, I also blame Mikel Arteta. As you guys know, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've criticized him. Doesn't mean I still don't believe in him, remember? Because sometimes I feel he puts square pegs in round holes, and he makes a little bit of what seems to be arrogant decisions a la Pep Guardiola. Maybe he spent too much time with Pep. So with that said, I'm going to just give you my nutshell 30 seconds before I hand it over to Amanda first, and then we'll move to James. We were rubbish tonight. We were poor. We never took our chances. We never created anything. We even made Thomas Partey look bad in the first half. Then he goes off. I hope he's not injured badly. To say we're going into an international break, and the timing of this is really bad because they can just swan off and do their thing with their countries, pisses me off. We had no identity in the match. We missed our chances. Willian and Laka were so poor, yet they got picked. You had Willock and Pepe, who had good games, who I felt deserved a shot starting against a team like Aston Villa. And now when I look back at the Manchester United game, I think to myself, oh, Man United is so poor that we looked like Barcelona. Anyway, the conversation will evolve. Amanda, when the team sheet came out, I know that you are a huge Pepe guy. We also thought that Willock deserved that chance, especially seeing how he played so well with Saka and his creativity and his runs. Kind of like how Ross Barkley and Jack Grealish played. Talk me through that, and then give me your nutshell, and then we'll get into the dialogue.
Do you know what? I was thinking, and as I was coming upstairs from the game, thinking, I just don't even care about ranting. Everyone's waiting for me to rant. I feel completely let down. I feel completely pissed off. I just feel, where was all that pressing that we did at United? Where did it go? Why can't we play at home? Why is Aubameyang still on the wing, still not working, still hasn't scored, signs a contract? I'm not saying, he's massively to blame, but if he's not doing it and our kids are, he should be dropped. I don't care how much money he's earning. He's not doing it. He's in poor form. Give him a rest. Make a change. Let the kids go for it. I'm gutted he's still on the wing. Lacazette is so poor, but I'm a big champion of his. But you can't keep playing the same players in the same positions and expecting a different outcome. As they say, expecting a different result from the same team is wrong. Now, normally off the back of a Thursday night Europa, they do normally play a little bit poorly, but none of these lot played. So there's none of this excuse going on. It was poor. The first 20 minutes of the second half, we actually looked interested. We actually looked like we could get a goal here. And I was thinking, if we get one, there's a chance. But I've got a feeling they'll get one and they'll win the game. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, to be honest. 2-0, 3-0. And I agree with Ainsley. I think everyone should get a £14.95 refund. That's the second game. We had Leicester, was just as poor. This is, thank God they've done away with PPV. Honestly, it makes me ill to think people have paid £15 for that game tonight. I also tweeted that obviously I would have been there because of my season ticket. And thank God we weren't. I've never wished us not to be at football the whole year since this all started. But half the ground would have been empty at 2-0, probably 3-0, most at 3-0. The rain coming down on a Sunday night, the fans would have gone mental at the team. Arteta would have got it in the neck and it would have been toxic. It's the only saving grace is that we weren't there. I'm pissed off, but I'm not, how can I put it? I'm not like raging. I just don't care because to me, and I'm a massive Arteta fan and I don't want anyone on his back or anything, but his tactics were wrong tonight. So wrong. And that's how I feel.
Okay, let me shift to James here because a few people in chat, and thanks everybody for joining us. Welcome. Yep. We feel your pain and we'll keep up. Like, fire off your questions and your comments. I'm going to put as many of them up as possible. I'm going to put them all up so we can all kind of like have a massive virtual hug. And one of the things I was saying, James, was we beat bad sides and then we saw Villa thrash Liverpool. Now we know why. We saw Leicester thrash City. We've seen a poor Spurs side beat West Brom today. We saw Leicester cling on to Wolves. We're kind of, we played well against Manchester United. But what I was saying to Casey and Amanda was, it was good, but also it's a poor Manchester United team. Tonight against Aston Villa, a team that has completely improved, and they had that midfield burst that we just don't have. So give me your assessment too, like Amanda, and I think she brings up some really good points. But the fact that she's apathetic about it just kind of shows you how deflated we are tonight. You come off a win against Manchester United. You see the results this weekend. These are the games we've just absolutely got to win. Go on, James. Go for it. Yeah. You've got the floor.
Yeah, it's the classic of old polyfiller FC, isn't it? We just paper over a crack by beating a big team. Everybody gets a little bit, that extra 10, 15%. Oh my God, Arsenal, yes, woohoo, we're back, yeah. Manchester United are dreadful. Let's not forget I said to my friends in my WhatsApp group that are Man United fans, I'm like, you should be ashamed of yourselves that you lost to us last week. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourselves because we're pathetic. We're at a stage now where if we're not clinical, Arsenal Football Club, by the way, Arsenal Football Club, if we're not clinical, we don't win a game. I said at half-time, I put a tweet out, Lacazette missing that chance is going to cost us this because we're going to go for it and they're going to carve us on the counter. And it was like a hot knife through butter, wasn't it? It was so easy for Aston Villa in the second half. I mean, Jack Grealish is different class anyway. If any club in the top 6 is looking at that, and thinking, we don't need to buy this person, they're an idiot. Someone in the top 6 has to go and buy that man right away. And if it's not my club, I'll be ashamed, because that guy needs to be in an Arsenal shirt, because that's what we need, a progressive ball carrier that's got guts, doesn't muck
Oh my
around.
God, look at that. Look what Matt, I just put that as soon as you were saying that, James, coincidentally. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, no, go on.
Go on, no, carry on. He just, keep going, mate.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah. No, it's an absolute shambles. I mean, Willian just ruins every single counter attack that we have. I'm starting to wonder what this guy actually does. Okay, second half against Man United, he comes into it a bit, and he gets the ball into Bellerin to win the penalty. But apart from a good game against Fulham, and I mean, Jesus Christ, who isn't having a good game against Fulham? So if you can't beat Fulham at the moment in this league, then what does that say about you? And it's just an absolute shambles. I mean, okay, when he puts the team up and you think, okay, that's the same team against United, and you're thinking, well, that ain't too bad. But then when you're watching it play out, you're just like, this is absolutely atrocious. I mean, full credit to Aston Villa, because they're just bold and brave. They've got that whole midfield free. McGinn, Grealish, that Douglas Luiz. Okay, he's annoying, but he's a little terrier, isn't he? That's what if he was at Arsenal, you'd love him. He just gets stuck in, breaks it all up. And do you know what? They're good at the back. It just everything that Aston Villa did tonight.
We were schooled by Dean Smith. We were schooled by Dean Smith and John Terry.
But can I just say, you need to give Villa some praise here. They're a good side.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Do you know what? Before the game, my friend said to me, 4-1 Arsenal. I went, are you mental?
Yeah.
I said 2-2, and that was being conservative. But what you're talking about, Grealish, is what we've all said about Vardy. Why didn't we go and get Vardy when we could have got him? I mean, it is so frustrating at the moment that we have got, if you think about it, we have got decent players. We've got good players. It's just not working. How inconsistent are we that we go to Old Trafford and do that? And then we come home and play Aston Villa, who, yes, have definitely improved this season, and we play like utter shite. I'm so angry, I can't even rant.
Okay, so
everyone's expecting me to rant, and I can't be bothered.
I made some because for me in the first half, and James, I don't know if you agree with me here, but when the front three got the ball in the first half, there was no additional penetration or passing to help them. So we kind of ended up in a stagnant force. And instead of passing the ball or moving forward or trying to create chances, we ended up sidelining, passing the ball diagonally again. We gave the ball away so much. And for me, it felt like on the flanks as well, where we really create a lot of problems, where Tierney and Bellerin, it almost felt like Arteta's, because Tierney usually bombs it, Bellerin usually bombs it, but it felt like they were told today to not push too far forward because they were so afraid of what the return penetration would be from Barkley and from Grealish. And listen, everyone keeps talking about these big summer signings and the summer signings of the season and stuff like that. Ross Barkley right now is we made him look like a rock star today. I mean, he bossed that game. So do you agree with me that in that first half, it felt like as far forward as we got, it just stopped, and there was nothing to kind of help make that final killer ball, that final run. And then when we did get our chances, we just couldn't bury them.
Yeah, I think you're being too generous. I think not only was it the first half, if you look in the second half, when Dani Ceballos comes on, obviously Partey was an injury. I know I blew up at first. I was like, what are you doing?
No, it was obvious that he was injured. He would never have taken him off. Exactly. We had to calm Soph down, didn't we, James?
Yeah, well, I was livid to start with. I was livid to start with. I was like, what are you doing? But then when the commentators said about the thigh injury and they showed the replay again, I'm like, oh yeah, he has hurt himself there going into that with Martinez.
Oh, Martinez, yeah.
And do you know what? There was that period in the second half where Dani Ceballos got the ball on the halfway line. He beat two of their players, and he's looking up, and he had to go backwards again. And that just sums it all up. Like you said, there's no extra, penetration from our side and everything else. And do you know what you said earlier? You feel sorry for Leno. I feel sorry for Tierney as well, because if I'm him at half time, I'm going to Lacazette and I'm like, you've robbed me an assist. You've robbed me. I'm like, how? I could not have put you a better ball into that box than what I've passed to you there. And that header is absolute. To not even get it on the target is absolutely woeful. And he's our top scorer this season. I mean, we haven't scored a goal in the league from open play in 3 games. And how much does our strike force cost? They're nearly what? They're nearly a 200 million plus.
James, do you agree with me though that he should really drop Aubameyang at the moment? If he's not going to play him central, it's a waste of a player, James. Then he has to play him central because it's not working.
Yeah.
You know what? I think he should drop Lacazette.
Yeah, you have to drop Lacazette.
Absolutely,
but if
one
of them two have got to go.
I agree with you. But if he's not going to drop Lacazette, he's got to do something with Aubameyang because he's not working. It is a waste of a player. I don't care how much we're paying him. He deserved that contract. He deserved it 100%. He's just going through a bad period. It's just not working at the moment. The bizarre thing is, if you'd have gone back a week to when we was on the podcast with Dale from Stretty News about United, we were buzzing. But what I did say, and I was discussing this at work this week with West Ham and Chelsea fans, they're like, you beat Man United 1-0. You didn't even play well. I said, I know. I said, and that's how much we have not played well for weeks, but people are not seeing that. We're now 11th in the league. We're now in the second half of the league. This is not going well, and God knows our goal difference must be minus.
Okay,
it's got to be minus.
Okay, and I got Amanda, and I listen. I want to bring up a point because, well, we have conceded. We had conceded the least amount of goals so far in the Premier League this season, and then we conceded 3 today. And yes, Amesy, we've given Villa. We give Villa all the credit. We're just bitching about our own team because it was poor tonight. And listen, Arteta has got it wrong tonight, and he got it wrong in a few games prior. So here's the scoop. We talk about El Neni, and I asked you and Casey if it was too soon to offer him a new contract. Everyone's getting excited like he was Fernandinho or something. This is the problem with players like that. They cannot perform week in, week out. They just can't because they're not world class. They can't do it. And everyone wants to rag on Xhaka. And I just put up a note about someone who said, this is what happens when you don't play Xhaka. I actually think that we play better when we have Xhaka. He has a little bit more bite. El Neni's a very nice, pretty, passy player, isn't he, James? Whereas Xhaka has a little bit more of an edge to him. I don't think he knows yet who's going to match Partey best. I don't think he knows his best midfield. But talk me through a little bit. El Neni was shocking tonight, absolutely shocking. When Ceballos actually came on for Partey in the second half, and let's just all remember that Partey was only substituted because he was injured. But when Ceballos came on, it felt like we got a little bit more control of the ball again in midfield. It felt like he was trying, and he almost was begging his team to make those runs into the right channels, and they just couldn't do it, James. Talk me through that midfield a little bit, because I feel like that's where we completely lost the game today.
Yeah. And over here, before obviously the Arsenal game was on, I watched the Liverpool versus City game. And Roy Keane went, at the moment, the most pivotal positions on the pitch is midfield. He said teams are losing games because of the midfield and then winning games. And ours was wrong tonight. Aston Villa's was spot on. And you know what? It just comes down to fundamental things like guts and bravery. I don't know if Arsenal looked at it and thought, cool, we did really well last week. Oh, it's only Aston Villa this week. Do you know? Because we've been guilty of that in the past. I remember seasons and seasons ago where we were absolutely brilliant, and then it was West Brom, I think, under Di Matteo come, and we were just like, oh, we'll walk these. It's only West Brom, and I think we lost 2-0 or something, didn't we? I think they lost 2-0. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's, you know, like you said, Arteta's arrogance is seeping down and it just spreads to the team, or if it's just something else. I mean, Aubameyang,
there's something not right, James.
He's bereft. He's hardly touching the ball. I think he had like 23 touches of the ball, and I'm like, but what did he do with them? Nothing.
Look at the team. Look at the team performance in the Europa League. The players who don't play often in the Premier League come in hungry. They want to prove themselves. They want to show themselves. And don't give me this fatigue thing, because every team is playing the same amount of games right now. And a lot of the players who played today weren't playing. Not everyone started the Europa League game. And I can't remember who just said it, and I'm going to try and find it up here. But someone said, Tony Clifford, Jack is a natural leader and should be playing. He is, and Joe Willock provides that. As Amanda said last week, she was talking about Rambo and how you get that burst through midfield, you get that energy, you get that creativity, you get him running into those channels where Ceballos can expose. So I do think, and Amesy, I love and adore you, and you're always engaged in the room and stuff like that. But at the same time, Arteta did get it wrong tonight, because I think when you play against a team like Aston Villa at home, he actually created a tactical a layout and a formation to not lose versus to win. And I think that rubs off on the players a little bit eventually, because you start off playing defensive in your own mind. You start off kind of with a bit of a negative attitude. And we were within 1 minute they scored, and we got lucky because VAR called it off because of I thought that was a little bit harsh actually on Aston Villa. He was in front of Leno, but he wasn't fully in front of Leno. So I just think that there's something that Arteta needs to stop and look at himself. Bellerin. Where's Maitland-Niles? Where is Maitland-Niles? Why is this guy not playing? Is it true that he's being benched because of his support of Ozil? Why is he not starting? He's better than Bellerin. He's actually a hybrid player who can play in any position. And I would have loved to have seen him play. I'd love to see Saka a little bit more forward, as opposed to, play Oba down the middle, play Saka a little bit more forward on the left. So for me, I think Arteta's got it wrong. And here's a stat for you guys. And look, last week, I brought up a point about Emery's record versus Arteta's in the Premier League. And I got absolutely ripped to pieces by some folks. But listen, the truth is that when Emery lost his job, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he lost 4 games that season when he lost his job. We've already lost 4 games this season. And we're only in November.
But, Soph, we know... Well, I think he is, and I know Kev does think, and I do think you think this. He is the man for the job, and we did say inconsistency is going to happen. Now, I've got a quote from what he's just said on Sky. Let me just read it to you. After that, we performed below our standards, and I have to say it's the first time I've seen us play and we weren't a team. I take full responsibility. We lost all the races, all the duels. We were sloppy on the ball. When we created the chances to score, we didn't even hit the target. It's a really bad combination. The fact that he takes full responsibility, you don't often hear, do you? He knows, and he's hurting. But he just needs to start to change it a little bit. Where's his coaches advising him? Surely he can see it's not working. The problem is we are so inconsistent that we haven't actually played well. Fulham was the only game we played well. We've got away with a few others. We got away at United because we did actually, I thought we played really well at United. But again, a penalty. We didn't score from open play. It is a worry that we are not scoring goals, a big worry. And then when you can't, and you're not going to defend, and you lose 3-0, you need your attack to help you out.
We're not scoring them. We're not creating them either.
But James, we did have chances tonight. Lacazette had a header he should have scored.
But that's the thing. They're 1 or 2. And like I said earlier, we have to be clinical. Otherwise, we're not winning games.
No, I understand that, James.
But we need to be creating 10, 12, 14, 16.
I understand that, but that's never been Arsenal anyway.
No, yes, it has been. Yes,
James, we used to be fantastic football.
A team like this.
No, we used to be fantastic football. Yeah, but how long are you talking about? 10, 12 years ago?
Well, 5 or 6.
James.
No, man, you're being too soft here. We are shocking.
I know I'm saying we're shocking. I'm not denying that, but I don't think that we would steamroll. I've never gone to a match and thought we'd steamroller anyone, but then I'm just quite negative. But what I'm saying is the fact that Partey going off really did change it. Yes, of course he's never going to go off, is he? He was injured, and hopefully that's not a bad injury, because that's all we need.
We also conceded the other 2 goals when Willian and Laka went off, and they were poor. So
they were so poor.
They were, but we we still conceded those goals. Listen, let me ask you guys this question, Amanda. Are we falling? Is Arteta falling? Are you seeing a pattern here? Because a few people have brought it up, and I've put it up on screen as well. Is Arteta falling into the Wenger trap and some other manager traps of playing favourites? Right?
No, because Wenger wasn't defensive like Arteta is. I'll go on the favourites bit in a second. I don't agree with that. You saw that with Ozil. He's not playing anyone that he doesn't want to play. He actually believes that this works with Aubameyang on the wing, and he's pursuing that. But he should be central, and I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I say it every time we're on a podcast. He needs to be central. That's his best position. I don't care what anyone says. And don't keep going on about last year. It's completely different. We're not creating the chances. But James, if you take...
What's the difference then? Why aren't we?
Hold on. If we take one or two of those chances...
He's right.
I didn't read it, sorry.
See? Peppering teams.
But the thing is...
garnish. There ain't even thyme or rosemary on it.
My saying was...
food. It's plain.
No. When I was at the Emirates, my saying was for years, great football, no end product. It was the same thing. You can do 25 chances. We still need to convert one or two. One or two tonight. It changes the game.
All foreplay and you know what's going to come next.
Because what's going on,
we don't even get foreplay anymore. We just fall asleep. We just lay next to them.
What's going on is backwards, sideways, backwards passing. It's just completely like this the whole time. I must have seen.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Can we talk about this after you're done, Amanda? Because it's a really important point.
I'm just going to say about Gabriel and Tierney passed the ball to each other about 7 times in one move. What is going on? Why have we not got any runners? Where is Willock? Where is Ainsley Maitland? I don't understand how long he's going to pursue this. Now, this Interdal may be coming at the right time for us. He may have time because we haven't had any time. It's Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday. So I just don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway.
Okay, so the biggest contention with Arsenal fans right now is this issue of Oba playing on the left and not dropping Lacazette. And I'm sure chat's going to light on fire right now because it's a polarizing subject. Lacazette is also the type of player who we've talked about before on this show that is a bit of an unsung hero, maybe not of late, in that he's a little bit like Firmino. What he does off the ball is even more important than what he does on the ball. And I think that's why Arteta continues to pick him, because he's definitely a coach whose work rate off the ball is very important, right? Hence why players like Ozil can't get into the team or are not part of the squad. So, James, I'm going to go to you first. Aubameyang almost won the Golden Boot last season. And KC, we talked about this last week too. Aubameyang almost won the Golden Boot last season by playing on the left. Clearly, something's not working this season. What's the difference, James? What is the difference with... And I did say, like, since he signed the ting, he's not doing the ting. Yeah. He's not doing any ting, right? So explain to me what the difference is, and everyone in chat get involved here too. What is the difference between Oba's goal machine-like saving the season last season, playing in that same position, James?
Do you know what it is? I think teams have figured him out because... you literally just keep him that out there wide, and he's restricted to crossing the ball in, and he must stand there and be like, "It should be me. This should be the other way round. I should be in the middle, being the one that runs onto my crosses." And all we don't give him the ball enough as it is. I literally none of them are passing to him enough as it is, in my opinion. And then, like I said as well, I just think teams have figured it out. They're just like, isolate him and keep him to that side. Don't let him cut him behind. Just literally restrict the amount of space that he gets, because we know what he can do when he's got space. You don't want to get in a race with the guy, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that race. You're not going to get out, even at the age that he is. But it's so reminiscent of, and I hate to really compare because I know we want to focus on our team, but Leicester, when they had that Claude Puel, he was putting Vardy out wide, and then all of a sudden Rodgers come in and went, screw that, you're going straight back down. And look at Jamie Vardy now. He won the Golden Boot. He scored again today. Just get him down the middle and then play a proper... I know it's hard because the creative attacking midfielder that I know a lot of fans want back.
Oh, how did he get all those goals? What were we doing creatively last season? What was better? And I don't want to bring up the O word because he didn't play post Project Restart and all that type of stuff. But what were we doing? now he's signed his contract. He's not as effective. He's not. He doesn't. Someone just wrote to me as well in chat. He didn't. This doesn't seem happy.
Yeah.
Something.
A lot of it,
not right.
A lot of it as well is that last season, and I don't know what it is since this new season started. A lot of teams normally would play badges and not play the team that they're against, and now teams this season. Regardless, I mean, look at Aston Villa against Liverpool. They just went, well, we know what our limitations are, but let's throw the kitchen sink at it, and they pumped them by 7. Man City against Leicester. Leicester went, we know what our limitations are, kitchen sink, beat them. And tonight, Aston Villa again, carve Arsenal, like I said earlier, hot knife through butter. They're playing the team, not the badge. We are in a complete disarray of form, and teams are going, get up, Arsenal, because we'll get 3 points here. Let's not be afraid of that cannon. Let's not be afraid of the Emirates. Okay, it's not really a cauldron even when fans are there, but still, they're not intimidated anymore.
Amanda,
just not scared of anything.
They're not. Amanda, you've been a huge advocate for Pepe. Okay, you have supported him, you and Super Kev especially. I've been really hard on him, but even I today said he deserved a shot to start this match. And someone actually just wrote in chat, and it's moving so fast I just couldn't. I think I put it up, but hopefully you guys saw it. Is there was this combo? I know our league position ended up poor. But in the FA Cup, which we ended up winning, there was this combo with Pepe, Laka, Oba, and they looked happy. They were playing together. They were interchanging the way they played. Do you think there's something to it that maybe Oba wants to play more with Pepe and Laka in those interchangeable roles, especially? I mean, he was given the opportunity to play down the middle in the second half today, and he still couldn't pull it together. Do you think the Willian thing has disrupted that front three?
Yeah, I don't want Willian in the team at the moment. He should just be a squad player anyway. When we need him, Pepe should be in the team. Give him that confidence to pick him each game. I'd have Pepe on the right, and I've had Aubameyang down the middle. That's it for me.
And who on the left?
You got a choice, haven't you, James? Who would you? I was thinking Saka because, and actually, I feel Saka's wasted where he is at the moment.
Until Martinelli's fit. It has to be.
Yeah,
there's no one else there.
I was talking about Martinelli tonight. We have honestly got some great players. They are who played tonight. They're not a bad team. They're just having a bad run at the moment. Arteta's made some more. He's come out and said some more things, and you can tell how hurt he is. He said we're going to have to look at ourselves. Each one is going to have to look at themselves. Can't blame anyone else. Because really, there is no one out there that I can't call a man of the match. I'm sorry, I don't even think maybe Gabriel.
I gave it to Tierney, and that
Tierney.
I give it to Leno only because he kept us in the game and gave us a chance to get back, and the
problem I have with Leno is, for me, and yes, I know he was the right one to keep, but Martinez just seems more commanding for me, and I looked at both goalkeepers tonight. Martinez looked up for it. He was like pumping. He's in a consistent Aston Villa side. And you've got Leno, who we're waiting to make a mistake.
Where did their third goal come from? Martinez collecting that cross.
Yes.
And giving it out quickly.
Because Martinez is on that momentum, isn't he? He's buzzing since moving there.
It's not because he's on the momentum. He can actually catch a ball.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say, James. He's more commanding. I felt safe when Martinez played. Leno, I'm not saying I don't feel safe. There are times, and the third goal went through his legs. So there's no way I'd give him man of the match. To be honest, they don't deserve it. I wouldn't give any of them man of the match. Yeah. What I would say is we were very lucky with VAR because I need to explain to people because people don't really understand. It's not about being offside. He was obscuring the goalkeeper's view. Now, I feel... I don't understand. I want to divert because this is something I want to bring up. Why did it take 5 minutes for them up there to go, it's not a goal, and for the referee to go and look at the screen? Why isn't the referee gone to look at the screen straight away while they're looking? 5 minutes. Pardon?
They didn't turn the screen on.
No, I know.
You need to pay your 15 quid to turn the telly on.
Well, this is the consistent thing. Amanda, can you read while we have everyone here in chat too? Can you read a couple more of the Arteta quotes that you have? That would be great, because I like that he's eating crow. He should.
Okay, so he said, first of all, congratulations to Aston Villa for the way they played and the victory. I take full responsibility. That's twice he said that now. We didn't start well enough. We got away with VAR for an offside situation, but we lost all the races, the duels, and we were sloppy on the ball. We left spaces on the counter and we looked really vulnerable. Arteta, it's not a coincidence we don't have that consistency, which is what I said before. We have to address that. We have to analyse, get a mirror to each of us and look at ourselves. Instead of looking to blame others, look at yourself. I take full responsibility the third time. My job is to make sure these players compete and be at their very best every 3 days. And today they didn't do that. So he's not sitting there blaming anyone. No. He's not saying about Sunday night, 3 days later. He's not doing any of that. He's going, I hold my hands up. It's down to me.
But now, what you're going to do about it?
Yeah, well, as I said, we won't know.
But tell me what you're going to do to fix it. I mean, bloody hell, Stevie Wonder can see it's a mess. But tell me what you're going to do to fix it.
So I've got another one here. It says, Arteta.
It's so naive.
Like
the football.
It's just PR bullshit. Shut up. You chose the team.
Absolutely. No, I don't agree with that.
Wait, it's cop-outy. It's so cop-outy.
I've got one more quote.
Like, and then if I go run someone over, oh yeah, I've run you over. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, of course. They know I've run them over. They want to know how I'm going to help them after I've run them over.
We weren't saying this against United. It is inconsistent. Then we just finish. Arteta on Laka and Willian. My job is to get the best out of the players and put them in the best possible scenarios. And if they're not performing, it's because we have to help them more. So we are.
Don't help themselves.
Yeah, you've got to help. Yes, I understand that. But if Laka's not getting the service, he did have a chance to score tonight. He did, and he should have buried it. To be honest,
you can't say Lacazette didn't get the service. My God, if I'm Kieran Tierney, and okay, my dad is Scottish, so I'm like, if I'm Tierney at half time, I'm grabbing him by the throat, going, "What are you doing? You've robbed me an assist." You know, there's people who've got fantasy football that are screaming. You know, people that ain't even
screw them fans. Too, James. To be honest with
you, going, I want my points.
No, we want the points. Arsenal Football Club want the points, and we had the opportunity. Robbie Mustoe said it here on the NBC broadcast in the US. Get the points, Arsenal, and climb up the table. And this is the kind of game that Arsenal Football Club have to win. And here is my beef. When someone asked me, what do you want from Arsenal this year? I said consistency in the Premier League. If you can't win this game, don't lose it. And you can't beat Manchester United away at Old Trafford after 14 years in the Premier League of not being able to do that, and then play at home and lose to a team that almost got relegated from the Premier League by 1 point last season. Improvements count, right? Villa are 6th now. I can't remember what our league position is right now, but we invested hugely. Gabriel's been great. Partey's been great. There's no doubt about that.
We're 11th.
But some of these other players need to really look at themselves. And Arteta talks about improving players, and it's his job to give, Lacazette and Willian a chance. Well, apparently he saw Ozil for so long and didn't give him a chance, right? So if he's that astute, he knows who's right and who is wrong for this team. And he keeps putting square pegs in round holes. Maitland-Niles deserves to be in this team week in, week out more than Bellerin. Willock deserves a chance in the Premier League because he has that box-to-box mentality that we just don't have. So he has to take accountability, and he is responsible for this game. But once you cross the lines, the players are also responsible.
Sophie,
and tonight,
he did make the bench, Sophie. How does he feel tonight? He sat at home.
I know.
He sat at home. He probably paid the 15 quid because he's got the money. But do you know what I mean? He sat at home probably watching that going, what have I got to do?
Who?
Joe Willock.
Yeah, but we don't know if he's carrying a knock or anything, do we? We don't know. He played Thursday. So before we say any, we don't know, James. We don't know.
No.
Right. He's not even on the bench. There may be a reason. Can I just say something?
Amanda, all the stuff goes out on Twitter with who's injured, who's fit. And yes, it does. And at the bottom, it has every single player tested for such and such and blah, blah, blah have passed the test.
Right.
Willock would have been on there if he was carrying. If Willock was carrying, because another reason you'd know is because all of us tonight are screaming and yelling about it, and he could go, well, he's carrying, don't yell at me. Oh, well, it's not because I just didn't pick him. He's got an injury.
I'm not saying I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying I think I agree with you. He should have played. But there's one last thing. Arteta says he will reassess his system over the international break. So even he now knows, after what we've been saying and everyone's been saying, it's not working. So now we have to move on, because in 2 weeks' time we play Leeds, and a month today or yesterday we play Spurs.
And who else? Do we have someone else in between that, right?
We've got Wolves, we've got Rapid Vienna, we've got Mould, got a lot of games. So the international break might actually help us for once, because he's going to have to assess. He needs to watch all the games again and just go, it's not working. We know that. We know that. I'm so determined he's the man for the job. I really am. But I don't like this defensiveness all the time. You know, what we did at United was great. We pressed and pressed and pressed. I think we started pressing the 81st minute today. It's not good enough. It's not.
So why, I guess, you know, some of the things they need to work on is why we can do that against, again, I think James made a good point at the beginning of the show, is like players start turning up to play against certain teams wearing a badge, i.e. you want to play well and shine against Manchester United. But then I actually think, guys, today, I think we were rude and arrogant. I think we thought we could show up and beat Aston Villa. And I think that showed in the first couple of minutes. Aston Villa had a grit about them, a determination about them. They did not want to go 3 games in a row losing. And we turned up as if we were just going to walk the game and didn't put in the effort. And, you know, for lack of finishing our chances, it's just bit us over and over again. Yes, we had a great result against Manchester United, but my goodness, also we've improved defensively. No one's going to argue with that. But today we let in 3 goals, right? So that doesn't go out the window yet. It's just one game. We're not going to scream about that because we definitely improved defensively. But don't be telling me Arteta's the Messiah and we're like all of this and great and then some, when currently his record in the Premier League is worse than Emery. And I think winning the FA Cup, and I brought this up before, I love winning the FA Cup. I love that we've been the winners of the FA Cup 4 times in the last 6 years. It is a beautiful thing to win trophies in football. But currently, Arsenal Football Club are a lovely cup team. Nothing more, nothing less.
Polyfiller FC. Polyfiller FC.
And whose fault is that?
Just paper over that crack. Because, well, it's just years of systemic bad owners, bad stuff from owners, bad management, bad decisions. That's just how.
And that is not Arteta's fault.
No. But the thing is, these 11 players that he picks and they go onto that field, Amanda, that is his decision. And
absolutely. But what do you want him to do, James? He's held his hands up
right.
tonight. Yes, I know. Right. But what do you want him to do now? He said, I take full responsibility 3 times. Yeah. Now, if he doesn't get it right, then he's not learning, is he? You have to learn by your mistakes in life.
Definitely. However, it's the initial setup. Like what we said a minute ago. There are times where I've been guilty of it. Everyone goes by numbers, stats, and tactics. There are just some games where tactics, numbers, and everything aren't going to pull you through. You just need to have a bit of heart, bit of passion. And Aston Villa, like they did against Liverpool, like I said earlier, they know what their limitations are, and they're like, screw it, let's go. Like, look at us at the Man City game. When are we going to play Man City that weak and that bad ever again? Never. We should have gone there, been bold, been brave, got a result. And it's the same tonight.
Didn't see any passion tonight. Didn't see anything.
No. Well, again, someone said earlier about get Xhaka on because of the leadership and everything else. I know there's a lack of it, but maybe Xhaka might have gone, look, lads, come on. I mean, as soon as that goal went in, and okay, it got disallowed and it took forever to disallow it, but who is going to him? Right, calm the hell down, because why has that happened in the first place? It's Willian and all them divvying around, mucking about. You two, and Lacazette, it's like you two stay up there, sort out what you're doing, and then in the midfield, just calm down. Do you know what I mean? Just let's reset and let's try and play and let's try and get this result. And it just went from bad to worse. And Aston Villa knew that Arsenal were going to come out second half. They're going to go for it, but let's not give them the space and let's just thump them on the counter. And that's exactly what they did. Leicester again. I mean, for all this about Mikel Arteta's the Messiah and everything else, I've been somewhat guilty of it, but he's been outdone by Brendan Rodgers, who people said wasn't good enough to be the Arsenal manager. Remember that? People were going, "Oh, I don't want him. He's a joke." And then he's been done by Dean Smith, who Sophie put right earlier. He was 1 point away from being relegated last year. 1 point away. And he's been done by him as well.
But I'd like to go back to what Virginia said, because that was spot on. If we can get that back up.
I'll find it.
James, read what Virginia says. That's exactly how I feel. Well done, Virginia.
Here we go. There we go. Arteta still doesn't know his starting 11 in the Premier League. We all know that Arteta is inexperienced when he was appointed. We will have to be really patient because the guy is still learning. He's learning at a very big club that's very expensive and we're falling behind. And I respect Virginia's opinion, but at some point he's got to start pulling it out in the Premier League.
But you weren't saying that last Sunday when we went up to Old Trafford.
No, I actually was. I wasn't as excited as you. I was crediting the team for a great performance against Manchester United. But now when we look back at that, I mean, Manchester United won this weekend and they looked like we did last weekend. And I think this just shows you the Premier League. And to be fair, people saying I'm scared because we've got Leeds, Wolves and Tottenham coming up. Wolves have not been the same team they were last season. Spurs got really lucky against West Brom today, but they got the win, right? Leeds have been really up and down, and as great as they are going forward, they could score 6 against us, but we could score 7 against them. So as daunting as these upcoming games look, you guys, they are still, I think Tottenham for me is the one that is going to be the toughest. But Wolves, I think, also the type of team with their coach and the type of coach they have, having that international break and time to work on stuff too. This is a really tricky season. This is going to be the type of season that is so up and down for a lot of different clubs. I mean, every week we think we know it and we don't, you know? Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. Every game for us is difficult now because we've heaped this pressure on. We should have been going into this international break full of confidence, happy that we'd done Man United, finally broke that hoodoo of a big team, and we should have beat Aston Villa tonight. For all their quality, we should have set up tonight a bit braver, a bit bolder. That's a great comment that's just come in. He doesn't change anything.
Right.
Okay, he made the sub at half-time, but that was through an injury. He had to. I don't think he would have changed. For me, I would have gone at half-time. I'd have gone one of Willian or Lacazette off. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. One of you two are going. And I'd have brought Nketiah on for Lacazette, or I would have brought Pepe on for Lacazette, and I would have moved Aubameyang down the middle. And because why are we still playing 5 at the back at home against Aston Villa? I know that they've just spanked us and everything else, and I've given them a heap of credit. But do we really need 5 at the back?
No.
I mean, we're playing 5 at the back against Mould in the Europa League. Do we really need to play 5?
That's because he doesn't trust them yet, James. I think that's the problem. Here's the scoop: we're a team that is very much in transition, and that it's not. We're not going to find our feet with Arteta having his total team in his image for at least another 2 to 3 transfer windows, right? I think some of the signings that came before him, some he's accepted, some he hasn't. Thomas Partey is one. Clearly he's guy for the future. Gabriel, he's definitely one for the future. But I think until Arteta is able to create this team the way he wants with his own players, and the greatest teams that we see play and perform are the ones that become an image of their coach. Liverpool, Klopp. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Pep, Juventus, Chelsea, Conte. You know, these teams become their manager. And I think we're seeing that in some of our players, Tierney, Saka, you know, and these are mostly the younger players. We saw it in Oba last season. But until he's able to really formulate that team with his signings, we're not going to see the Arsenal that we want. So we're going to have, like Amanda and KC said last week, we're going to have these weeks where we're going to be critical, where things aren't going to go right and they're going to be wrong. But he also has to be able to manage the process a little bit better. And I don't want to hear about inexperience at the moment, because we laud him. No, but we laud him when he wins, and he was Pep's master assistant. And look at City since Arteta's left.
Thank you, Sophie.
He gets it wrong sometimes. He gets it wrong sometimes. And today he had a chance to go for it at home against an Aston Villa team that had lost their last 2 games, and he didn't.
But do you honestly think that he puts that team out not thinking they can beat Aston Villa? And I don't agree the players walked on the pitch and thought, this Aston Villa will do this. They haven't got the confidence at the moment. There is no confidence in that team. I'm sorry, there isn't. So he's held his hands up. Let's give him a chance. I know what you're saying. He has to make it right.
That comment that's just come in from Gene. Yes, they outdone Klopp and Pep this season because those teams were bold and brave enough to do it. Why are we playing 5 at the back negative?
Right, James, I agree with you.
Yeah, but it's coming in going because there's no width in the midfield. Yeah, because they're 5 at the back.
Yes, that's the thing.
Okay, the defenders are bad to an extent. The defenders are bad, but Gabriel is brilliant.
Yeah, no, I agree. But
brilliant. We can shield that back now.
Just going back to Sophie, what she said,
and then another 3.
I agree with you. We shouldn't have 5 at the back, but let's just go back to what Sophie said. He is learning on the job. He's never been a manager before. I don't care if he was assistant coach at City. He wasn't the manager. He's not gone to a small club. He's gone to a big club that were in problems. Then he's hit COVID and God knows what else. I think he's doing the best he can at the moment. That's all I'm going to say. He now does need to learn. I agree. Mm-hmm. And the quotes I've read and what I've heard from him, he looks like he's going to. If in 2 or 3 hold on a second. If in 2 or 3 weeks' time we're still talking the same thing, then I'll be with you. He needs to now learn. Now is the time.
Okay, so James, I'm going to throw this question to you that was thrown out to me. A really good one here by Nelly Tuba.
You answer it, please.
No, but in the 8 games we've played in the Premier League,
I feel guilty taking it off.
No, you should because, I mean. The Fulham game, I think we throw that out the window. I think we've got to toss it out the window, right? Yeah. The Manchester United game was the complete performance. I'm not sure it was his team, as Nalatuba asks, because maybe going forward, if he's going to be reflective about this, he's going to go back to giving that Pepe, Laka, Oba a chance, and Willian could kind of be the super sub, maybe coming off the bench. What would you say before we've got 5 more minutes, guys? So if you have any other questions you want to throw anything in.
I feel, like I said, I feel bad taking it off you because he wanted to hear from you. He probably didn't want to hear what I had to say. But
no, anyway, go on, James.
Anyway, for me, the best team that he's played was that second half versus Sheffield United when Willian dropped in at number 10 and so did Saka for a little bit.
They were interchanging in that creative role, yeah.
The best that they've looked, and that was Aubameyang down the middle.
Yeah.
Aubameyang played down the middle.
Yep, great point.
For that little spell, and look, Pepe come on, and look how free Bellerin looked with him. He got the assist. Saka got that header. Do you know what I mean? He's the smallest man on the pitch.
My point is, and people are saying this though, James and Sophie. You need to listen to what they're saying. When you get a new manager in your office or anything, they're going to make mistakes. Absolutely going to make mistakes. As long as he learns from it, the inexperience does count. He is absolutely dumbfounded tonight. If I'm reading these quotes, obviously from Sky, he's dumbfounded. He generally could not believe. It's like he's talking to the press and he's like, I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe this has happened. Now we see if he's going to start to gain some experience from this, and he's going to learn and he's going to start to change it.
So in your heart of hearts, Amanda, when we play Leeds, do you think it's the same team that played tonight then? Or do you actually think he's going to change?
No. And when we play Leeds, we're going to win, James. And I don't often say it. Okay? I don't. I mean, I obviously got it right against United, which was a fluke. But
in 2 weeks' time, when it's
come back on, James.
When it's the same, I'll always come on if you invite me. Yeah, I need things to do. I'm not allowed out. I got to have something to fill the time. However, when it's the same team that played tonight against Leeds, I want a full written apology from you.
Okay, I'll say
if he changes it, I will.
He will change it. He'll change a couple of players. Definitely, he won't do this. I still think, fun enough, Aubameyang will be on the wing, but
I'm not there. But
no. And I won't entertain people that say that. But I still think he'll play Aubameyang on the wing, fun enough, but I think other changes will come. I just think he's trying to either play Lacazette back into form, but otherwise I think there will be changes. If he goes with the same team, then I will come on here and I will rant the fuck.
We like
Lacazette. Listen,
I will.
We like Lacazette because he works hard.
Yeah.
And he is the top scorer. However, he's getting in these positions that if it's someone else, they're going in. And do you know what? He fouls so much. And I keep seeing it, and I'm like, it makes me laugh.
He gives the ball away a lot too.
Yeah, all he does, and then he keeps twerking on people. All he does is back his bum into everybody. Do you know? He's like he's grinding on these defenders, not trying to beat them all the time.
I'm just different to you two. The inexperience has to be counted. You cannot just dismiss that.
But how does he get it so right against? Because you know what, James brought up a great point, because UKC, Super Kev, and Super Kev will be back this week, you guys, on the show. Amanda, UKC and I talked about it too, in that if we don't have that official creative player, the way he did play tactically Willian and Saka off each other in that 10 role, it was really dynamic and it worked. And it was really exciting, and the front players looked alive. Everyone was running through the channels and not stopping and side passing and going backwards. So if you see that as a manager and that worked, I think sometimes here's what worries me. I adore him and I think he's going to be superb, but he's a little bit like Pep. He overthinks things sometimes and maybe tries to be a bit too clever. And that's the only thing that worries me going forward. I'm not saying that he's
Heston Blumenthal when you need to be KFC. Just nice, basic, get it in. Don't you know?
Yeah. So for people that don't know how I know James and I, we podcasted about 7 years ago. Was it?
Yeah, before I was exiled. Yeah.
Yeah, exiled. Oh yeah, then I left.
Hey, I had to set up on my own.
You did.
I broke 100 subscribers, by the way. That's my achievement.
Go and follow James. He's brilliant. But we and you went to City in the final or semi-final. Semi-final, when I said to you, "There's no way on earth we're going to win."
Yeah,
and obviously,
in Prezzo's, I said,
"You did in Prezzo's."
2-1. I said, as I was tucking into my fettuccine bolognese, I said, "Don't worry, we're going to win 2-1."
You did, and I looked at you and went, "Yeah, all right, James, whatever. Keep eating your bolognese." But that was a great game. I mean, that's the Arsenal of old, when you go expecting to get trounced, and we beat City in the semi-final. But it will come back. We will have days like that, and hopefully we'll be there, because I am sick to death of watching football with not a fan in the stadium. It's just awful. And VAR
fans weren't there tonight.
I know. I did tweet that towards the end. Lucky, yeah, because yes. They wouldn't have been there, James. I don't leave matches early, but the whole 3/4 of that ground would have been gone. Sunday night, pissing down with rain in Islington. Yeah, whatever.
It would have been bad. You know what? We've talked about how Arsenal are a team who have benefited from no fans in the stadium, and especially with Arteta being able to kind of, let his voice be heard. And those water breaks early on really helped us too in our run up in the FA Cup, especially. But today would have been rancid. I think today would have been the first time that maybe he would have felt a little bit of pressure. And you know what, Arsenal fans, let me just tell you something. It's okay to criticize the manager. It doesn't mean you're a hater. It doesn't mean you're hysterical, and it doesn't mean you're wrong. It is your opinion. And he's been in the job now long enough where we've seen games in the Premier League. No one's criticizing the FA Cup or the Cup, or the Europa League. But in the Premier League, I think it's okay to start asking a few questions about how he thinks from game to game and how he approaches things tactically, and the plays he chooses, why he chooses them. And let's hope that he's not going to be the type of coach where favoritism comes into play. So we're not saying, we don't support people who are talking about Arteta out, but you have every right to criticize this performance and start asking questions about Arteta as a manager in the Premier League so far. And on that note, we go into an international break. It's the worst time.
No, I disagree.
Why? Because I want him to get it right now.
No, because he needs time. He needs time, and time is going to get a couple of weeks now. Hello, Zod. Give him a chance, Matthew. I agree. I think what James and Sophie are saying, I understand, but I don't necessarily agree with you two. But and that's fine. And I do believe, James, he will change it. And I do believe, I never liked the Interstyle. We need this because we've been playing mediocre. He needs to be able to have time. Not every 3 days. Can you imagine having another game on Wednesday or Thursday now?
Can I shock you? I agree with you there, Amanda.
Oh, do you, Jamie?
We need this.
He needs the time. I mean,
Let's
to be
go
fair,
watch Gareth Southgate play 7-1-1 against Belgium.
I don't
seven defenders
watch England.
And it's all calm down. But then I'm telling you now, when that lineup comes out against Leeds, if it ain't changed, I am coming.
It's going to be changed.
You live near me now. You aren't that far away. I will chase you down.
You're not allowed out. Quarantine. You stay there.
I can turn up. I can't come in. I could be 2 meters away. I'll stand there with my little pickaxe outside the door.
No, but James, it's been brilliant having you on, honestly, and we will get you back.
I appreciate it. I appreciate being asked. I know people come on tonight thinking that Kevin was going to come on and then we're going to get great analysis about our strikers and everything else. I played up front for Gallo United a few times. If people want to ask questions,
Well, look, we're going to be, as we announced last week, our lockdown live radio comes to you starting tomorrow. So look out for those notifications on Facebook, Twitch, and also on YouTube. And of course, our Twitter account at Highbury Squad. We can't tell you how much we appreciate all of you tuning in and spending time with us this evening after a really difficult game. But you know what? We live in hope, and we hope that it'll all come together. And seeing the Premier League this season, it's going to be topsy-turvy and a bit of a roller coaster. So who knows what can happen in the coming months? Amanda, what you got there? Is that a chart?
No. One of the lovely ladies on Twitter who draws for a living.
Ruth, isn't it?
Ruth Beck. Honestly.
I love it.
She sent me this. It's a card of Arsenal, and she just said, on my birthday, she sent it to me, and I love it. Look at this. Look how good she is. She drew that.
Yeah, I got the Father's Day cards.
And I got one for my dad. So go and follow Ruth Beck and just say Amanda sent you. And James, it's lovely, isn't it? She's a lovely girl as well. She loves Arsenal, and she's a big supporter for it. She draws the most amazing things about Arsenal. Anyway, sorry, I diverted only because I saw it over there.
No, that's okay.
We're going to be back all the time annoying you. So tell all your friends to subscribe to us if in lockdown you have nothing to do. We're on loads of social media platforms.
How you're going to drag content every single day is admirable.
I know.
I'm struggling to get 2 shows a week out on my own channel.
We're going to do some fun stuff, though.
It's going to be some fun stuff.
It's not going to be fun. I applaud the effort because I don't think I can talk about this again tonight. It's going to be
we won't be.
No,
this is like gone.
Well, Kevin will want to have his word, definitely. All right.
We'll let Kev rant on Kev Says. That'll be up this week, won't it?
Yeah, definitely. It'll probably be up tomorrow at some point, knowing Super Kev. So with all that said, listen, we will see you tomorrow live again. And remember, there's going to be opportunities for you guys to come on the show too. So if you want to, send us a message. You can see our email. You've got our Twitter account. Just hit us up, myself or Amanda, or the Highbury Squad account on Twitter. We're going to have fan forums. We're going to do top 10s. We're going to do there's a lot of stuff coming. So tune in tomorrow and you'll see what we're going to be doing for you during lockdown and beyond. You have to tell us why you deserve to be on this pod and if you supply chocolate. Because if you don't supply chocolate, you're not allowed on this. You're the chocolate supplier. I know. I don't eat chocolate anymore, but I do for you. Pint glass and minstrels. I don't know what he's talking about. And look, because you when we went to Wembley, you managed to sort out whatever you sorted out with I can't even remember the guy's name. I feel so bad. And we got like that upgrade thing, didn't we? From a friend of mine at Wembley. I got a hot dog. I got a drink that was about 7 foot tall. And then he was like, "Do you want some chocolates?" And I went, "I'm not going to turn down some chocolates." And he filled up the other 7 foot cup full of. So I'm walking out of Wembley with this cup of minstrels like this. I was dashing them out on the train. It was unbelievable. It was not what you know. Oh, exactly. You know when you like put the 20p's in the machine and you turn it and the sweets come out? I literally got the jar.
I got the.
I think you were more excited about that than beating City.
I think everyone's waiting. I think everyone's waiting.
I know
for the
they are.
carriage.
Right, James.
Okay, look, let's leave this as the last comment. Thank you, Matthew. We really appreciate you and all the new people who have found us too. So,
James, thank you so much for coming on because you're a good mate of mine, and now you're a good mate of the show.
I really appreciate it. Thank
Sophie,
you so much.
as ever, the most perfect host in La La Land, and everyone that's watched us. Now, remember, it's Monday tomorrow. It can't get much worse, and it's lockdown, but always Arsenal.